Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new here, this channel is all about homesteading in a frugal way. We're a large family, we love to grow our own food, we love foraging, we love preserving the harvest and getting out in nature. And we like to do all this in as frugal a way as possible. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So one of the things that we do, and it's just a frugal thing, it doesn't save loads of money or anything, but it's a really good habit to get into if you drink coffee. So I don't, but my husband and one of my older children drink coffee, and they like to have cafetiere coffee. And so what I do is when they've finished their coffee, I've obviously got all the granules in the bottom, so I'll add a bit of water and I'll take it into the garden and water my plants. I've been watering my pumpkins with it actually, and they seem to be thriving with it. And so obviously then it's not going into the bin, so it's not filling up my bin, it's not being wasted and going into landfill in any way. It's actually just being used in the garden, so it is saving me money on a little bit of fertiliser. But it's just a really good frugal habit to get into, and it means I'm watering the plant at the same time, so it sort of saves me a journey there. You can do the same with tea leaves. Tea bags, you can only use tea bags if you've got paper ones, biodegradable ones. If they're plastic, don't put them on your garden. But what you can do is you can tear open the tea bags and put all of the tea leaves into a container until you've got enough to then go and feed your plants with them. So again, it's another useful way of making sure that you're not wasting anything. And every little thing that you're saving going into the rubbish bin, I don't know what you guys use, but we do use a plastic liner for our bin. It saves you purchasing more and more of those plastic liners. So whatever you can keep out of your bin is going to save you a little bit of money there. It's saving the environment because you're not putting it into landfill. So yeah, it's a win-win. So let's get this outside. So there is a little bit left in there, so I'm just going to get the last few bits out. So one of the other things I do is I always keep a bowl in the sink, and so whenever I'm washing my hands or I'm rinsing things out, I'm catching the water underneath, and I'll use this water. I'm catching the water underneath, and I'll use this water for watering the garden. So I'm obviously saving a little bit of water there for when I am watering the garden. And we're on a private treatment plant here, so any water that's not going through the treatment plant is going to save me. It's going to prolong the life of the water treatment plant. But also, we're in a drought situation at this in England at the moment. And obviously if we can save water in any way, then we need to try and do our bit. So yeah, keep a bowl underneath the tap. So something else that we like to do in this house is we use a small flask for our milk. If you remember, I like to keep my hot water in a flask so that I'm not having to reboil the kettle. But we also do the same with our milk. So this was bought for us probably about 10 years ago. My brother-in-law got myself one and mother-in-law one, and we still use it all the time. We use this when we go on picnics. We take a little bit of milk in here, and we also use it in the house as well. So what we do is in the mornings when we're sort of getting up and going into the fridge and getting what we need, I always put a little bit of milk in here. I try and judge. We've worked it out that we use about half of this through the day of milk. So I put it in here, and that stops me opening and shutting the fridge through the day for whenever I need a drink. So my fridge isn't having to work really hard to get it back down to temperature, especially in this heat. It just is a no-brainer really. What we also do as well is in the mornings, like when I do this, I try and make sure before I go into the fridge that I know exactly what I need to get out of there so that I'm not leaving it hanging open for ages. If we're having packed lunches or whatever we're having for lunch, say we're having some sandwiches for lunch, I'll grab all the things I need to do for lunch and I'll make up the lunches and then I'll chuck everything back in that needs to go, do my milk, and then I usually put it into a cool box. I haven't got it with me, I'll go and grab it to show you what I do. But I put the sandwiches in a cool box or whatever it is I need for the day, because it's only got to keep cold for a few hours, and it will keep perfectly in there because it's insulated. And then I'm not opening the fridge again at lunchtime to get all my lunch things out. So that's a really good way of just trying to make sure that you're not wasting money with your appliances by having to make them work harder than they need to. And also, when it's really hot, it will help to keep the temperature of the room down a bit better, because it's not having to work extra hard to, bring it back down to temperature, if that makes sense. Let me just grab the cool box. Back with my cool box. Now, because it's used so much, it is a bit sort of dilapidated. Well, it's not even dilapidated, it's used so much. But here it is. Just a nice cool box. And we use this, like I say, for whatever we want for the day. And we also use that whenever we're going on picnics or anything. We take the cool box with us to keep things cold. But this one, so we've had loads of cool bags previously, but they never last as long as this. This, I'm trying to think how, this is at least, this must be 25 years old, this cool box, and it's still going strong, and it will probably give us another 25 years. So it is a really good investment. So yeah, definitely have a cool box handy. So one of the other things that I really love doing is foraging. I absolutely love foraging. And the other day we foraged these blackberries. This was actually full, we've had some already. I saved the containers from when you buy fruit, things such as grapes or tomatoes or things from the supermarket. These are really useful to have handy. I always keep some of these in my car for whenever I'm going anywhere in case I spot something. But yeah, go foraging. Make sure that you are 100% certain of what you're foraging for, that you can absolutely guarantee the identification of it, and also make sure you've got the landowner's permission. But yeah, blackberries are pretty easy to identify. Most people can identify those, and they're everywhere usually from this time of year right through to the autumn. So definitely get out foraging. It saves you money on fruit. I mean, if I bought this in the supermarket, well, I don't know how much that would have cost, because you don't get that many in a supermarket, but probably for this amount, full to the top, it would probably be between £10 and £20 worth of blackberries. So absolutely get out foraging. So one of the other things I've been working really hard on trying to do, and that is be more efficient with my cooking and with the energy use during cooking. So the first thing I'm trying to do is use the oven as little as possible. I'm trying to think of if I can do something on the hob rather than in the oven. I am also thinking about the what I'm using for cooking. So this is a cast iron pot, which is much more efficient at holding the heat, and therefore will save me money with this. I'm also thinking about, if I do have to use the oven, I want to make sure it's full. So I'm not going to use the oven just for one item. I will make sure that there are multiple items going in there. And I'm trying to make sure that I am not wasting any energy with that at all. One of the other things that I'm going to be trying to do, and I haven't really done this as much, I do it with things like spaghetti bolognese and chili and things. I do batch cook those, but I'm really going to ramp that up and try and batch cook a lot more, and really almost triple the amount I'm going to batch cook, because if I'm cooking all that meal anyway, I might as well use that heat. But then I've got those meals that all I've got to do is reheat going forward, so it just totally makes sense. And then also I can put them in the freezer, so they're filling up the space in the freezer to make sure that's more efficient. So absolutely, I'm going to really ramp up my batch cooking. So yeah, follow me to see how I get on with that. So another way that we save a bit of money, and that is if we want to go out for a day, we use our loyalty vouchers for supermarkets. They tend to be worth about 3 times as much by using those, so it totally makes sense to us. So it was my son's birthday the other day and he took a friend out to an amusement park for the day. So the day was free. We also took our own picnic, so that was free, and all our own drinks and things. But we did go to a particularly famous fast food restaurant on the way home. Now, whenever I do go to these places, I make sure that I don't waste any of the condiments or anything that they give you. So I've got a selection here. I've got some salts and some peppers and things here. I've got some sugar sachets, and they did give us some milk ones as well, and we didn't use all of those. So we brought them home. They were UHT ones, and we use them in our tea. And also we didn't use all the napkins that we were given, so we brought those home. What I tend to do is, if I do get excess napkins somewhere, is I keep them in the car because they're quite useful for that sort of thing. This wasn't from there, but we were given a tea bag in something recently, so I tend to keep these when we do get them for if we're going out on picnics and things, because then obviously it's completely sealed for us. So yeah, another top tip there. Don't waste all the sachets and things. Apologies if the sound isn't great on this one. I'm having a few mic technical issues. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just trying to address it. So I'm doing this without a mic. Hopefully it's okay. Right, one more, and then I think I might wrap this up for today because I think I'm overloading you with too many hints and tips. I'm just going to grab it. In fact, I'm just going to turn you around over here. Right, over here. We don't use kitchen towel. We haven't used it for 10 years or so. My husband would quite like to use it. I will be fair to say that. But I absolutely said, no, we're not going to use it. And actually, I think he has finally come around to the idea. So we always keep a basket with old rags and cloths. This is the one that we're currently using at the moment. It's actually, it does need to go in the wash, this one. We use this for mopping up spills, mopping up mouths, particularly for when I'm wiping vegetables and things like that. But whatever you use a kitchen towel for, we use it. So I've got in here, these are old baby muslins from when the children were little. So I'm just reusing these. There's napkins that we use for some random reason. There's a curtain ring and a plastic 50p in there. No idea what they're doing in there. But yeah, keep all your old rags. I think I did mention that in one of my previous videos. Like, you can use them for cleaning as well, but cloths for all those other things like spillages and cleaning vegetables or whatever you use a kitchen towel for. Right, I really will wrap that up now. So I will say thank you once again for watching. I'm really pleased you joined us here at the homestead, and until next time, bye.